Okay, how the Eagles have built this team. I think this is a fascinating clip. Let's go ahead and play it. Jerry Jones says the Eagles bet it all to win this year. You completely disagree. Let's first hear from Jerry Jones.
I'm reluctant, even though by nature I'm a wildcatter. Anybody that thinks I won't take a chance has misread the tea leaves. Okay? But I do think longer term, and I'm real hesitant to bet it all for a year. And there's a lot of things that can happen for that year. In essence, we're seeing a couple of teams that have had some real success putting it all out there and paying for it later, right, in Philadelphia and really Los Angeles. Don't think that doesn't pop my head and get my eye as far as doing it, and I know how to do that. And it's a part of what you put in that computer and what comes out, and we'll see how it comes. But that's pretty impressive to have two teams in the last 2 years empty the bucket and get to the Super Bowl.
But you're drafting development.
But if you miss. It is a long go. On the other hand,
he's obviously being condescending and bitter.
I mean, I get him on the Rams. He's completely accurate on the Rams. I don't get the analogy on Philadelphia. Like, what move has Philly made that made them go all in? They haven't signed the quarterback to an extension. Yeah, they have some older players on their team. Brandon Graham's not going to be on their team next year. They've got good young players behind him. Fletcher Cox's not going to be on the team next year, but they've got Jordan Davis, who they drafted. You know, so they've got some older guys on the team, but they didn't really didn't mortgage their future to get them. I mean, here's the reality. The Eagles enter the offseason with cap space. The Cowboys have to cut players to get under the cap or redefine players. I have no idea what he's talking about. Like, I think he's missing it. They rebuilt the offensive line basically with all young players. They drafted Kelsey's replacement in the second round and Cam Jurgens last year. So that line's going to come back. They may not have a right tackle for Lane Johnson, but they got 2 number 1 picks this year. So I'm sure they could find one. They got young players. They have young players in the backfield. They have young players. They signed. They traded a pick for Brown. That wasn't expensive. I mean, I think they've done a really good job of winning. I think they've done a great job of building their team around a rookie quarterback contract. Where Jerry has problems is he's overpaid for a quarterback and he's overpaid for Zeke, who he tells everybody's going to be back on the team.
But also, Jerry's talking about going all in to win a championship or a long-term plan. Well, one thing we do know, he's executing a long-term plan. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since '96, right? So this has been almost a 30-year long-term plan.
I think he hadn't been to a conference championship game since '96. I mean, Elliott can look that up, but I think it's been a long time since they've been to the Final Four. I mean, and through those years, he's gotten in the Hall of Fame. Well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame as an owner for what he's done for the advancement of the franchises of the team. But, I mean, let's face it, Jimmy Johnson was the architect behind those Super Bowls, and Barry Switzer got in the car and drove it to the final one before it crashed.
Yeah, that just sounded bitter because, like you said, you feel like the Eagles are set. Yeah, complete jealousy. Where is he, by the way, where he's always ready and there's always a swarm of reporters ready to ask him questions?
I think he might have been he could have been at the Senior Bowl. He could have been scouting down there.
Okay. Well, good for him if he was.
I mean, he might have been. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But, like, I think to me I think it's a mischaracterization. Like, the Rams are all in. Like, okay, if the Rams lose Stafford in September of next year and they dig the hole deeper this year thinking they can come back, right? Then they're going to have a hard time getting out of it. Now, I think the Rams will sign a backup just to protect themselves, but I still think it'll be hard.
Sour grapes, though. You're down at the Senior Bowl scouting for the future, and a team you're kind of not necessarily clowning, but the Eagles going all in, like Michael Lombardi said, no, they're set up for success for many years to come.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.